Yo, we're back. The Foul Hooked Whitey, Brandon Booty, Part 2, Nobody Cares That You Speycast. We talked about the dark side of two-handed fishing, two-handed casting, I'm sorry. And it's not a dark side. That's so dramatic. But, I need dramatics because nobody's fucking listening to this, right? So the reason that, there's a dark side to it is because it's the elitist in the sport. It just is. I mean, I'm a streamer fisherman. You're a streamer fisherman. We fucking think we're the elitist, just because we work hard to catch trout with our technique.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Right, all day, dude. I floated the lower stretch of a tailwater down in Wyoming on Tuesday. It was my day. I hired a guide, Robbie Weinman, gentleman, eclectic, amazing guide. Right, I threw that fucking woolly bugger for 12 miles. Did pretty good.
Oh yeah, that's a long time.
I couldn't even lift my right arm that night, and I felt great. It's like it was a fucking tough basketball game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you feel good when you battle like that when you're fishing. At least I do.
Yeah.
So we think we do more. We think that we work harder for what we catch. We think that we're leaving fish on the table by not nymphing. I mean, there's some arrogance with us streamer people too. But the two-handed guy, he's different because he's like psychologically, he's like the start to that television Star Trek TV show, to boldly go where no angler's gone before. Well, I mean, he has, and I'll tell you why. Because if I don't have backcasting room, and even if with my casting game I can oomph that baby and drop that bugger 40, 50, 60 feet across and put it on a soft pocket, let it swing through there, let all those holding fish in the middle of that flat just fucking see it, and and you know what happens once it's down from you, you start stripping it upstream.
Yeah.
Kapow, right? It's fun. And they get that every time for the most part. The difference is we're throwing to the center of the run, and he's fucking getting all the way across every time.
He's covering so much more water.
He is. And so that's kind of, this is the positive side of two-handed trout spey, is that in terms of a technique to literally benefit the angler based on how they choose to fish, there's nothing more effective than a spey cast. There isn't. Not a fucking tungsten beaded nymph, right? Not a foam high float dry.
And are you saying this is more effective because they're catching more fish?
No, not at all. But
just being able to present it and get it where they need to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you think about modern techniques and how it works to benefit that technique as an angler, you're demonstrating this, right?
Yeah.
Fuck, a two-handed cast is the most beneficial technique because it gets it all the fucking way across,
and you're staying further away from those fish. And I think those bigger fish, I think you got to be more, sneaky on it.
Oh, no doubt.
And that's a big advantage to be further away from them.
I also think, we talked about a gentleman that's really gotten, in terms of my wheelhouse of Yellowstone fishermen, I mean, this dude, in my opinion, he's the best.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I mean, he's, his initials are DN. Right, and I won't drop his name out of respect, but he's exceptional.
Yeah, he's
that motherfucker. You know what he is? He's a big game guy, right? He's whacked a lot of trophy critters,
and that's probably his. I would guess he probably enjoys that more than.
I don't know, but I mean, my point is, he seems to do that when it comes to something that has scales too.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, shit. I've got a picture of one of these browns he popped on in April on the Yellowstone, and I mean, that's definitely a fucking 30-inch fish.
Oh, yeah.
Holy fuck. And he's doing all of it with a two-handed rod. And exactly the reason that we've talked about, getting all the way over to that spot. He floats, too.
Yeah, he floats. I was thinking of him, and I'm like, are they throwing this spey rod off the boat?
He floats.
That's why I initially asked that question.
I think he floats to get to be able to wade fish and be in position to work a run good. Again, I know there's some guys out there that'll actually kind of fish a two-hander on a drift. Like I've seen it in kind of a slough for salmon that a while ago with an exceptional guide by the name of Pierce OJ. He was actually doing it out of a boat right? but it wasn't running water and it wasn't current. It was, just kind of a big ditch type thing, right? And so going back to DN, he's doing it on the Majestic Stone.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Right? And he's doing it with big streamers, I believe. Articulated, not your deceiver type, right? Which is half the size of a basic articulated trout streamer. And, I've got a lot of respect for this guy because, he saw what he had to do, and getting back to the fact that getting that cast down, wanting to fish that way, wanting to get a brown chasing something from all the way across the other side of the river, you're only fucking doing that with an effective two-handed cast.
Yeah.
That's it. And, being on a guided trip or being in a boat, it's great because you do get to hit water that you don't get to hit when you're waiting. But you also do nothing but blow by good water.
That's true.
I mean, you guys will do row arounds and shit, so, you got clients who'll get a second pick or a third pick at something. But, a guy like me, I mean, let's face it. I mean, I'm not covering every ounce of water from a boat, right? I'm doing it when I'm on foot, though.
Yeah, when you're on these busy rivers like the Bighorn, when it's busy, you can't even fish the water you really want to sometimes because the boats are all running right over it.
That, and also the fact that going back to DN, he found the gun, he found the tool that he needed to penetrate that big river, and it is big.
Yeah.
Plus, it's got the funkiest hydraulics out of any river within a drivable distance of Billings.
Yeah.
Right? So he's got it down. That's why a trout spey cast is the most beneficial singular technique style there is, right? The other thing about it is that spey anglers, they kind of are, they're kind of looking for something more after they got good. And that's
like a challenge to them.
Right. That, you think about that, the mentality of that, the two-handed caster. He's probably a good streamer fisherman, probably an accomplished bobber and dry fly guy. And then all of a sudden, there's this fucking funky cast that's all out in here, right? Anchor, whip, shoot, man, all the way across. Exciting. And it fucking works because it gets him in those spots. But the thing about it is that it doesn't seem like a lot of streamer guys, a lot of anglers go to that. I mean, a lot of them, I mean, let's face it, I've been fishing, streamer avidly for 20 plus years. I don't have any interest in doing it. I only took those lessons that I failed at because I was fishing for salmon in Oregon in fucking overgrowth that was like this.
Oh, yeah, no.
So,
no
I
choice.
mean, I'm talking, I was requiring to pop a 17, 18, 20 foot is all, 20 foot cast is all. But every back cast, I was either hanging up on this or hanging up back there.
Yeah.
With that spey rod, you're not even fucking dealing with that if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, don't got to worry about anything behind you.
Right? So a spey angler to me is kind of the ultimate, going for it type fisherman. They're really the ones that are trying to get better, trying to make it harder.
Yeah.
Right? Trying to make it harder. Have you ever done it?
I haven't. I've never done it. I've thought about getting into it. It's hard. It's hard not to think about getting into it because these spey casters are catching nice fish. They
are. And here, so you ever heard of Tierra del Fuego?
I haven't.
Okay. That's down in, man, I hope I got this right. That's down in Argentina. It's sea run brown fishery. I'd probably say from what I know, it's the sea run brown fishery. 15, 18, 20, 25 pound browns.
Damn.
That are in this windy, shocking, barren of a wasteland with this wide fucking river that everybody that I've talked to that has made this trip, very few of them have stuck with their one-handed rod, even if they had no two-handed casting experience at all. They spent those first couple of days flailing so they could get that thing over in the bucket where these people are hooking up with these sea run browns. Dang. Right? So again, talking about the psychology of the different anglers out there. I mean, you think a Euro nymph angler is striving to make it harder?
No, yeah.
This isn't.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, that's a good point.
This isn't a diss on Euro, day. It's not that, but it's true, right? It's like they think of how to make everything easier. the exaggerated weighted
Easier,
fucking
catch
bead,
as much
right?
fish as possible.
Yep, racking them up. Boom, sinks in 2 seconds. And now what's the trend in that? This super thin diameter leader and tippet.
Yeah.
And you know why that is?
The bug sinks quicker.
That the bug sinks quicker. That's not some dude learning how to cast a two-hander.
Yeah.
Right? So that's really kind of where this is at. And again, I said it earlier, it kind of gives a a guy that likes to swing, a guy that likes to cast and bomb big throws, it kind of makes him that, that superhero with superpower.
Yeah. You know what else I'd put up there with people wanting to make it harder?
Yeah.
Them dang mice. The nighttime micing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure guys two-handed cast mice too. I mean, that's the ultimate probably swung bug. I don't know. I've never fished mice outside of Alaska. And even in Alaska where we were getting some eats on some damn nice fucking rainbows, right? That's fucking hard.
And you can do it midday in Alaska, huh?
Yeah, and it was crazy shit where you would see nice rainbows, 22 inches to 24 inches, come right up, follow, and then just like somebody flipped a switch turbo and they just charged that fucking mice. It scared the fuck out of you.
That's gotta be cool to see right there.
Yes, it was really cool, except that if you're not patient and if you're not somebody that really follows your guide's instructions, which is, dude, how many fucking times do I have to tell you? Wait till the mouse disappears. Then set your hook, for Christ's sake.
All that anticipation.
It's intense, man, especially because they kind of pike it. They kind of hover around the thing, and they're checking it out, making it real. Getting back to the swing, though, real quick. The hook set, to me, I think most of your trout spey are in between 11 and 11 and a half feet. Okay. Whereas obviously your salmon and steelhead ones, they can get as long as 13. Okay.
That's a long rod.
So, it's an interesting thing to me. I mean, I that long of a rod, which has got to feel loosey-goosey, even if it's faster. Maybe not a real fast one, maybe that's got some punch, but that technique of that casting and that anchor and like I described earlier, that's real subtle shit. I mean, somebody has to really learn that. And I mean, how can you do a hard hook set on those fuckers?
That's what I'm saying.
That's the part I don't really get about.
It's hard to do it with a far cast on a regular one hand.
Yeah,
you're losing hookups. You've got.
Thank you for bringing up something that actually pertains. Very smart, because you're right. The further you are away from the hook, the tougher it is to get a hook set.
Yeah.
And what I'm wondering is again, so this trout eats it on the swing. I mean, is that dude still keeping his rod tip down and then he's just, bam, giving it a strip set like we do? It just seems like that extra 2-3 feet of rod, right? And that flex makes that harder.
Yeah.
Because I don't, I sure
the more line that's out, though, the harder it is to get the hook in them.
Yeah. So anyway, well, we talked about an important subject that we really didn't add anything to at all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately. But that's all right. Any interest at all in learning how to trout spey?
Yeah, there's definitely some interest there.
You're on the Bighorn River, which is one of the local fisheries that actually gets fish this way.
Yeah.
Right? Anybody that comes in here that's fishing around the greater Yellowstone Valley, they're going to the Bighorn to spey cast, right? Or they're going to the Yellowstone, big water, right? It can be done on the smaller shit too, but I mean, I can't, medium or smaller streams like the Boulder or the Stillwater, I don't see the application.
Yeah, I don't see the value there. Yeah,
I don't see that. I see it on the next size up as far as river, but I don't see it. Do you see very many anglers out two-handed casting on a guided day on the Horn? We're on a busy day. How many wade fishermen do you see?
Shoot, in the summer there's quite a bit. At 3 Mile, 3 Mile can get pretty busy.
Dozen?
Yeah. But I don't see any. I don't see any spey casting.
Yeah, so it's kind of like it's the reason that this was a subject to me was because just in the last month I've had more and more people come in inquiring about. Trout spey.
In both shops?
No. Here.
Okay. And this one?
Here in Billings, where I get a lot of folks in. So, it's not a fad. It might be subtly trending again, right? And, last comment. This technique, this new style, this new way of fishing, streamers, intruders, deceivers, whatever the fuck, that's put a lot of money in the fucking sport.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another rod purchase that person may not have ever bought if they didn't go to casting a two-handed rod.
Rods, all the different lines.
Fuck, oh my God. All those mow this and mow that. Seriously. So anyway, that's all I got. You got anything else?
No, thanks for having me on.
We'll be back next week, okay? That's the end of part 2. Nobody cares that you spay cast. I'm the foul hooked Whitey, signing out for myself and Brandon Booty. Out.